So one of the first things in troubleshooting that a lot of times we forget in IT is documentation. We fix somebody's problem, figure out what it is, or we don't fix it and can't figure out what it is maybe, either way, and we don't document it. If you don't document something, if you're gone and you fix something and your coworker has the same problem next week, if you had that documentation, they could just look at the documentation you guys keep in your location, figure out what the solution was that you found out it was, and save a lot of time. Because in IT, believe it or not, there is a lot of duplicate issues that go on all the time on a daily basis, whether it be people forgetting their password, to can't print, can't open the application, my PC won't work, it's all locked up, a whole bunch of different things you'll get all the time. And resolutions, a lot of times, what applies for one person can apply for another person, but there are exceptions. So recording in some type of tracking system, it'd be a simple database. There's tons of them out there. Spiceworks is one that has built-in database for tracking. Because if you use Spiceworks at work, it has a built-in ticketing system that the user submits the ticket, it adds it, you get assigned to it by your boss, that ticket, you close it with a solution, there, ergo, is your documentation. And so it's built-in documentation for you, but if you don't have Spiceworks or don't want to use it, anything will work. Excel spreadsheet, I've seen people use, Access databases. Communication also is important. When you're solving situations, sometimes it only affects that person that you're helping, but sometimes it can affect others around that location or the entire building, entire network. Minor modifications. The rule we have in IT, all the IT departments I've ran and currently work in, is a 15-minute rule. If something takes 15 minutes or less to complete, you don't need to document it. If it goes over 15 minutes, document it. Pretty simple. You'll have some IT departments say an hour, whatever. I've always said 15 minutes just because if it's over 15 minutes, it's fairly, could repeat itself, and it could be something that could be used over, and it might be a pattern too. And so, anyway, we'll look at the steps here in a second of methodically troubleshooting. Now, one of the big things in IT and just anything in I guess, the world today is people have a problem with critical thinking. And I think a lot of it has to do with our school systems and our K through 12. We don't really force kids to think through problems from beginning to end. When I taught programming in high school, one of the things I taught in programming was logically thinking through a programming solution from beginning to end before you ever start a program. Makes sense. But today's generation wants to jump right in and do something without any forethought or logical whatever. And so same thing with computer networks. When there's a problem, you don't jump right to what you think the solution might be. There are certain troubleshooting steps that's wise to go through, and it does take some time, but it's definitely well worth it. Because if you go through some of these steps, or all these methodical steps, it's going to help you in your troubleshooting aspects. So, force yourself tonight when you are a troubleshooter, to go through the steps. For some of you, it might be old hat. You've done it before. You do it right now in your workplace on these steps that we're going to go over. You can definitely use experience that you've had in IT and just in life in general. And logical approach is the best as well. Logical common sense is a best approach. Prevents time wasting, time-consuming efforts. Because there's going to be a time in every project, and not every project, because some projects or some problems where you'll be like, you know what? I can't figure out what's going on. I can't do it. I've tried, not happening. So I'm going to reach out and get some more help. We're going to call some more people, get them involved. And that takes common sense to do that. It also takes some level of swallowing your pride and going, you know, guys, need some help here. This is what I've done. This is what I've tried to figure out what's going on. Can't do it. And a lot of times, you know, I'd like to say it's hours and hours and hours of investigation, but a lot of times it's just a little thing you missed that you looked over umpteen times. I've had that happen to myself, and somebody goes, well, what about this? And they might not even be in IT. They might even be or it might be in IT, but might not be my area. And a new, fresh set of eyes a lot of times will see something that you don't see, right? Because we're in the mix of it, and so a lot of times getting help as well is going to help at times. So troubleshooting steps: you identify the symptoms and problems, and I like to call that getting your requirements, whatever requirements that they're having issues with. Requirements could be, you know, requirement is they want to print. Here's a requirement: they have to print. They can't print. Why can't they print? But before you go to the why can't they, what are they wanting to do, and what are they doing presently? What have they done? Have they installed any software? Have they tried something themselves to fix it, right? Because a lot of times people will tell you something's not working, but when you end up finding out, they did a lot of stuff before they called you, right? They might have spent days trying it before they called you. And so they've done a lot of stuff, but right at the front, if you don't ask the question, before I start this, what are things you've done to solve it? And don't be, you know, don't say it like, well, I hope you didn't do anything before you called me. Because if you say that, you're not getting any response whatsoever. None. But if you look like, you know, hey, I know when things happen to me, I'll try a lot of stuff before, you know, I reach out for help. Did you try something like that maybe before you try to fix it? They'll be like, oh yeah, I tried this, and this, and this. So it's non-threatening. They don't feel like you're going to jump down their throat and get on to them for trying something, right? So, because the more information you have before you go into the situation, the better. Identify the affected area. If it's talking about printing to a printer, can anybody else around them print? Makes sense, right? But I've seen people, when they tackle a problem like that, not ask anybody around the other person they're helping what's going on, or if they're having the same problems. And that's going to help isolate the issue. So if they're the only ones, let's say they are the only ones, that helps in defining the problem and the symptoms. Determine what's changed. Okay. Well, I installed a new software last night before I left work, and you know, it messages people back and forth inside the building. Okay, let's look at that software. You know, you jot that down. That's one of the things they did. And maybe you come to find out after looking at software, it actually overwrites the default printer or changes the default printer to something else, and that's why they can't print. Boom, right there. Seen that happen. Because sometimes software will actually override everything that's default with what they want it to be, what the software needs it to be. Maybe the software needs it to print to a PDF, and they don't need to print to a real printer, but it overrides the entire machine. I've seen that happen. So, but unless I ask the question and find out, it could save me tons of time. So in the case of one scenario I'm just giving you, the probable cause is the software. Can I go in and override it or change the default printer to what it should be? Let's try that. I do that. It works. Okay? And that's the solution. I document it, write it down. If it's under 15 minutes, I don't. But if it is, say it took 30 minutes, I jot it down. Because more than likely, if it's over 15 minutes, this person could do it again, I'm guessing. I've seen that happen, right? Some people do the same thing over and over again that they shouldn't, over and over again, right? Have you seen that before? And so when that happens, do I?
My grandparents do that, correct?
Yeah, over and over and over.
Stop saying yes to, Stop saying yes to everything.
Yes. Yeah, stop saying yes. Don't open the email. Don't open every email. Yeah, and I've seen CEOs do it. These people are, have doctorate degrees, masters. They're not stupid people, but they might not have much common sense when it comes to technology, right? I've seen that. And you guys have seen it yourself, whether it be in your family or friends or people you work with. So identify it, create an action plan, document it. So when you're identifying the symptoms, which is the first step, you need to ask the questions, like I already went over. Avoid jumping to conclusions. Well, you know, Jill always has a problem doing stuff. It's probably her. You know, don't jump to conclusions. Even though, yeah, Jill might always mess stuff up. Not always the case. Avoid jumping to conclusions about the symptoms as well. You know, that, you know, it might be, if it's a printer that's having a problem, oh, well, John, who installed the printer yesterday, put the wrong driver on there probably. Not necessarily the case. Pay attention to all the stuff going on around you. Treat each symptom uniquely. Then identify the affected area. Is it one person, that workstation, that work group, a whole department, one building, multiple buildings, or the entire organization? Narrow down when it happened. When did it start happening? Well, I installed the software last night before I left work. I didn't actually try to print until this morning at 9 a.m. So between the time they printed or installed the software and tried to print, that's the time frame. Has the network server workstation ever worked before? Did it print last night? Fine. Oh yeah, before I installed it, I was printing stuff before. No problem. Did it appear in the last hour of the day? Have the symptoms appeared intermediately for a long time? Do the symptoms appear only at certain times of the day, week, or month, or year? Then benefits. Eliminate some causes, points to other. And so by identifying the affected area, you can also bring up other things that are causing issues, like somebody is constantly thinking they should go around and share everybody's printer or something. I've seen that. Or reconfigure people's IP address. I've seen that. And so just things that people are doing that maybe they should stop doing. You can find when you're investigating what's going on. Time to take time to troubleshoot correctly. Ask questions. Don't rush through anything. Filter unrelated user information. You're going to find out a lot of unrelated user information tonight in the lab. Okay? Like, you know, I really think the current network IT guy is useless. Okay? Or the network admin and boss is terrible. Or I hate the weather and I'm tired of living here. I want to move. I mean, whatever you're going to get. You're going to get tons of stuff. Try to filter through that the best you can. Nod your head. Listen. But, you know, filter unrelated information. Discover time and frequency of problem may reveal subtle network problems. Identify affected problem area leads to the next step, which is this type of graph that might be useful when you're first starting troubleshooting. The top triangle is a problem limited to one user or workstation. Yes. Okay, if it is, examine that individual workstation for problems. Consider problem possible user error, or in this case I talked about earlier, they installed some software. If it isn't isolated to one workstation, no. Is a problem limited to one department? Yes or no. And it gives you different scenarios to go through depending upon a yes or no answer. So as you're first learning troubleshooting, this might be a helpful tool to use, possibly, until you get it kind of down in your head how it works. Chronologically identifying the scope of the problem. Has it ever worked? Yeah, the printer worked last night. Did it appear last hour? No. Have symptoms been intermediate for a long time? No. Do the symptoms appear at certain times of the day? No. Because the symptoms are unpredictable, consider human factors such as human error or further troubleshooting. In this case, install software before they left work. So it literally only takes a minute or two to go through the steps. Doesn't take a long time. Because believe me, people are wanting you to fix it yesterday. Everything that you want, that they come to IT, they want it fixed yesterday. Everybody. And it's up to us to definitely fix it, but we have to kind of slow down a little bit. We don't want to make a mistake, and we don't want to break something else in the mix of it. Next is determining what's changed. Beware of recent network changes, maybe some updates. Let's say Acrobat some updates, OS had some updates. Possible actions of change generated problem. You could reverse an update, you could roll back. You can roll back updates. In fact, this year Adobe did an update for Adobe Acrobat that literally blocked the network from mapping drives on the entire network. So we had to roll back on all the machines that update, and we blocked Adobe on machine level from updating in the future, doing auto updates. We added that to the manual updates that we push out. So, and Adobe was real prone this year. They had really bad news in IT. Did not like Adobe because of some of the updates they pushed out earlier in the year. They gotten better, but because of that, bad taste in IT mouth. So we take it out of the auto updates on the machine and do it manually now. Network change records, track what's changed. Maybe there's been a new switch added that wasn't configured right. Make records available to staff members. Again, if you're using a software like Spiceworks or a global access database where people can access that stuff, that's easier to maintain and to keep updated. And then establish a probable cause. Close to determining probable cause. Verify user competency. Ensure human error is not the source. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You have to be careful, though, when you figure out that it is, not to demean the person, okay? Because in IT, years ago, when I first started, it was prone that IT was known for, the old Jimmy Fallon's NSL skit of, Nick Burns, a computer guy. Anybody seen that before? Nick Burns? Okay, you gotta watch that. He would come into a room, somebody would have a problem, they go, I'm having a problem. He goes, move! Was that so hard? You're welcome. That's how IT was looked at, and that's how we functioned. Now, you can't get away with that. You have to have people skills and be nice to people, and you have to treat them like humans. And, that's, a lot of IT departments are sending people to sales school, like Dale Carnegie School of Sales, to learn people skills. And so, make sure that you do find it's human error, handle it softly, nicely. If you can't do it, because I know some people that still can't do it. They can't. Chuck, can you come talk to this person? That's what they're having this problem. Yeah, I don't mind talking to them. I don't mind talking to whoever. But there are going to be some people in IT that still are a work in progress, right? If you're that type of person, ask a friend that you know can handle it, have them go do it, right? It's much better to do that than to be called on the carpet and get in trouble, which you will if you say something you shouldn't say, or look at them or breathe or sigh heavily when you shouldn't. I've seen people get in trouble for that. So body language is a big one, like, oh, whatever. Gosh, I wish we would stop doing stuff like that. That's not good. It's not a good thing, because that will come back. Verify the user is performing network tasks correctly, like watch them, okay? Can you always duplicate a problem when you're watching? No. But just by you watching them, a lot of times lets them at least believe that you care, right? Because you're sitting there watching them. And a lot of times other problems will come up and you're like, well, I'm not here for that problem. Guess what? You are now. So you have to help with that problem, whatever it might be that they just came up with now. But I would say 50% of the time when you watch somebody saying they have a problem, you go to their desk, they can't duplicate it. Maybe even higher, depending on what the problem might be. So the other thing you can do is VNC in and just watch them throughout the day periodically, let them know you're going to do this. Hey, do you mind if I remote in and just view what you're doing periodically throughout the day? And if they're having a problem, most likely they're not going to care. They want you to help them. Talking over the phone, that's fine. As long as you're doing it as a status type of thing. Oh, by the way, I wanted to call you and let you know I'm looking into that problem. We've called so-and-so to look at it. He's looking at it, let you know maybe after lunch where it's at. So just kind of a status type thing as the day goes on. That helps people know you're on it, you're working on it. There might be literally no change from the morning zero change, but you're communicating with them. Does that make sense? That makes them feel like you care, right? Results, you can catch basically user-generated mistakes. You can gain clues for further troubleshooting. You know, I've seen it to where people just need further training on something and say, hey, we've got this video you can watch or this training that's coming up. Would you like to go to that? They're like, well, I didn't even know we had that. I didn't know you guys had that. Yeah. So I'll shoot you a link and you can watch it. And I don't know how many times people like come back and go, wow, that really helped me a lot. And guess what? After they've been trained in something, the problems that they've had in that area goes down because they know what they're doing. And so, I mean, nobody likes to feel stupid, right? And so, but also people have a hard time asking for help, right? And so, offer the help. Don't wait for them to ask. Say, hey, we can help you. We got this training you can go to, or doesn't cost anything. I'll shoot you a link of how to search a web safely, or how to email safely, whatever it might be they're having a problem with. It'll definitely help them a lot. So recreating the problem, like I talked about earlier, the symptoms sometimes, if it's a printer issue, that should be no problem to do because it's a printer issue and they can't print. But if it's a software issue or whatever, it could be just a glitch or something that they have an issue with at the time. They're right-clicking when they should be left-clicking, but when you go and watch them, they're left-clicking because they know they should do left-click, stuff like that. That's going to happen. You can log in as that user and see if you can replicate it as well. I've done that before. Because as in IT, generally you're going to have admin access to everything, right? So when you log in, you're going to have full rights to everything. So log in as that user on their machine. If they let you, have them take a coffee break for 5 minutes and you sit down in their chair and see if you can replicate it that way. Because a lot of times that'll help as well. Asking questions is real important. I call it hand-holding. And so I worked with a guy once that he had a rule that he would do. I'd say, well, Gary, was that a 2-finger, 3-finger, or 4-finger hand-hold? So, because what it was, the more fingers was the more help they needed. So, 2-finger, 3-finger, 4-finger. And so, some people need more help and need more help also when you're trying to ask questions. A lot of times shooting a breeze about whatever does help them feel at ease to answer questions that you might have. Verifying where it's at is on the physical layers. Is it a NIC issue? Is their Cat5 cable frayed? Do they kick it out? I've seen people do that, where they kick their foot on the Cat5, every morning to eventually it's kind of frayed at the end where the plug-in is. Maybe need a replacement. The NIC card might be bad. Software problems, might need to reinstall software, might need to reinstall the operating system and all the software. I've seen that before. Okay. Asking questions on the physical layer would be, going around and swapping equipment, swapping computers. I've done this many times to test to make sure it's not the computer. Swap it out, swap out the patch cable. Another diagram I won't bore you with, but basically just going through, is the cable properly inserted? Yes. No. It makes sense, right? If you see if it's frayed, replace it. Don't try to push it in and go, oh, I think I fixed it because I pushed it in. No, just replace it. If we can't afford a new patch cable, let's shut the doors. Let's close up shop if we can't replace a new patch cable. Verify things are connected as well, from cabling to software to hardware. And then determine whether escalation is necessary. Like I talked about earlier, you get to a spot, and I've had it happen, where I couldn't figure something out, tried all my troubleshooting steps, still couldn't figure out for the life of me what was going on. I'm gonna escalate this. I'll say I'm gonna push this up the ladder. We're gonna get some more help and figure out what the next steps is. And in the meantime, here's another computer for you to work on that you can do your work, get your job done. then you push it up the ladder to whatever you need help, whatever you might need help with. You might need, a help desk analyst in your area that does a lot of basic workstation type stuff, network troubleshooting. These are first level responders, the ones that, people call when they have any PC related issues. Network specialists, second level support. This will be they can't connect to drives, they can't log in, they can't access the internet or intranet. Help desk coordinator would be the bosses of these third level support system. And then know and when how to escalate. So again, we've all been there where we've been to a spot where I've done everything I can do. We've all been there. Can't figure it out. Reach out, push it up the ladder, right? Get some more help. And don't feel bad, we all have to do it. Then create an action plan. And sometimes that action plan is we're sitting on it right now and figuring out what's going on. We can't figure it out. We're going to try to replicate it, try to install a new operating system, whatever. And all that takes time to do. That might be your solution in the meantime. And then sometimes waiting it out and seeing if it continues. Say if you fix something, you put a Band-Aid on something, and it doesn't come back, it works, that's great. Trade-offs on things is, restoring functionality for one user group may remove functionality for others. So you fix something in one area, I've seen this happen, you break something in another area. And that's again why communication is important. On the printer solution I gave earlier, I fixed the printer for one person, but it breaks the connection for everybody else in the network in that area. Go figure, because I maybe installed a new driver on that machine, reconfigured their IP on the printer, and when I did that, it wiped everybody's connection out, that was connected to it. That could happen. But I fixed their problem, but guess what? I broke all the other connections in the floor that were connected to that printer.
There's 99 problems with that printer ain't one anymore.
Exactly. Exactly right. Exacto mundo. And so you're all excited because you fixed that one problem, and now you're like, oh, but I caused 20 other problems. Oh, well, live and learn. And so, that's going to happen. So security is another one. Be aware of inadvertent security implications, like make sure and don't give people too many rights they don't need or not enough rights. Before upgrading, patch and installation. Because I've known people in IT, and I am not this school of thought, that if there's a problem in anything in a server or computer, updates will fix it. Not the case. Not the case.
Break it.
It can definitely break it, right. It can definitely break it. And so make sure before you do anything, do not just nilly-willy begin pushing updates. A lot of times it's not that. Scalability on the action plan is our position network for future installations. Temporary fix organization will outgrow. It's going to work now, this fix will, but maybe a year from now we're going to have to buy a new server. We're going to have to buy a new fleet of printers because they're old and outdated. Cost, weigh these options carefully because folks in finance aren't just going to just pay for everything without a valid reason for it. And so make sure you have a good reason, and make sure it's a long process, meaning it's going to last for a while. This solution is. Vendor information. I always work with vendor information that I trust, vendors that I trust, like CDW is a good one, Dell, but CDW is kind of a middle of the road vendor for all things, all types of hardware and software. They're always good to help out. When you have a good vendor, it's good to hold on to them and fix things even. You might even need help in your network at times, like Entree, you might have to call in to do specialized installation or training. Done that before. And so it helps the local businesses out that do this for a living. It also helps your team out because they might be getting trained in something that's brand new through Cisco maybe, and they benefit from it. It helps them learn and to get better at what their job is. So when you implement and test it, make sure you, whether it's a brief or long implementation, put some thought into it. I never rush into any implementations. How many's ever show up to work on Monday and there's been something new, like a new software or new whatever, And nobody knew about it, right? Or very few people, especially people that use it didn't know about it. And you log in and you're like, what's this? It's a whole new application almost. Well, it's a new update. We went from version 1 to version 10. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? Nothing works like it used to, right? And so put some thought into it. It's going to take time when you put a thought into rolling out whatever implementation, especially if it's a large thing like a software update. And what I've always done in the past is just involve as many people as possible in the implementation that's outside of IT. That helps you a lot. So people that this is affecting, involve them in the solution, let them test the solution, check off on the solution, and sign a piece of paper or email and saying, everything's great, let's do it, we're ready. Then you know you're good to go. And if something doesn't work, at least you've crossed all the I's, dotted crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's that you thought you could through the process, all right? Then following a series of steps, implement a safe, reliable solution. I always, do an email to everybody, letting them know about it. Even if it doesn't affect them personally, I found out that times it does later on down the road maybe. Sometimes you might have to roll out things in stages, like on the software update. Let's not go from version 1 to 10. Let's incrementally update it. Let's do that. Okay, is it going to take longer? Yeah, it's going to take longer. But people are going to be much nicer to you and not think bad thoughts about you, okay? And, want to beat you up on the parking lot on your way to the car. Make sure you put some thought, would I want this for me if I was working with this? So just use common sense. And believe it, there's going to be times where your boss is going to want you to do something maybe, and you're going to have to come back and go, I don't really recommend that because of this, and this. So don't be afraid to, basically fight back your beliefs on why you shouldn't do something or why you should do something. So after testing the solution, we want to go ahead and communicate to everybody, find out things we did wrong, things we did right, document it. However you're going to document it, make sure and document in a centrally located area. Some people have help desk software they use, like we do here on campus. We use SpiceWorks. We use that here on campus as well now. Follow up with the user the next day. Just wanted to check, make sure everything's good. How's it going? Yeah, everything's working great. Or, well, I'm having another issue. It's totally unrelated to that one. That'll happen too. Okay? And so, whatever it is, always do a follow-up. That's going to help.
Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cubicle?
Well, they told me I should.
Oh, I get it. You're the new guy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm supposed to be the one that shows you the ropes, huh?
My name's
Fine. Welcome. Welcome. It's a tough gig, Internet help desk. I figure you got 4 essential services in our society. You got your police, your fire, your ambulance, internet help desk. Air traffic controllers claim they have the most stressful job. Ha! But I'll tell you, man, there is nothing that beats the adrenaline buzz of configuring some idiot's ADSL modem, even though he's running Windows 3.1 on a 386 with 4 megs of RAM, man. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for calling the Internet Help Desk. One of our trained technicians will be with you shortly. Please hold. So that's the first thing. Hold button. This is your best friend, okay? This is your teddy bear and your mama's teat all rolled up in a one. Always put the customer on hold, okay? Right off the bat. Shows them who's boss. Thank you for holding. Your call is very important to us. Please hold. Take some of the fight out of them too, you know? Which is important. Because when they start telling you they don't know how to use a mouse, or that they've been putting their coffee cup in their CD-ROM tray, and they start to realize what an idiot they are going to vent all over you, my friend. Don't worry. I'll train you up. I'm a vet. I'm a pro. Hell, I've been here 8 months. Wow. Okay, thank you for holding. My name's Wes. What seems to be the trouble? You can't get your email. Okay, well, can you be a little more specific? You can't. Okay, please hold. See the X-Files last night?
Yeah, that was cool.
Thank you for holding. Okay, the first thing I'm going to need to know is if you're running Microsoft Outlook Express or Netscape Communicator. You don't know, of course. Okay, well, that's all right. Just take a look in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Do you see a big green N or a big blue E? Big black nothing. Okay. Well, that's entirely my fault, okay? I'm very sorry, and what I need you to do is, and listen to me very, very carefully, you're going to have to turn your computer on. Yeah. Oh, no, that's all right. Don't worry. I'm here. Okay, I'll wait. Thanks. Guy's got a computer 10,000 times more powerful than what we used to send a man to the moon, and he needs me to turn it on for him.
Yeah, that's funny because actually...
Okay, so you got to boot it up? No, sir. No, don't kick it. No, is it turned on? Oh, great. Okay. So the big TV part then is all full of cool, colorful pictures and stuff? Excellent. Okay, please hold. You know, I do feel sorry for them. I do, you know. I mean, they don't know why they want to be on the internet. They don't know how to get on the... They don't even know what the internet is. But they want to be on it. So they go down to Future Shop, they buy the most overpriced piece of crap the salesman could soak them for, and then they bring it home, plug it in, and boom, they're crash landed in the middle of a dark technology. Hey! What are you doing? You start looking at the cartoons for tomorrow today. What the hell are you going to do tomorrow, huh? God, what are you going to use for strength when you got to lead Joe Moron through clearing the porn out of his Internet Explorer history cache before his wife wakes up? Have some discipline, buddy. Okay, so you've got it booted up then, sir? Excellent. All right. Now, what I need you to do now is double-click on the little picture that you normally double-click on to get your email, okay? Now, what is the name of that picture? Microsoft Outlook Express? Or Microsoft Outlook? Okay, great. Just go ahead and double-click on that. And then when the program runs, I want you to click on Tools, and then I want you to click on Accounts, okay? And then when the next box comes up, click on the blue text, click on Properties, click... No, Tools. Tools, sir. Tools. T-O-O-L... No, okay, sir. I think you've run the wrong program. Okay. Outlook... No, sir, no, you're not running Microsoft Office. See, that's why I was... You need to run Outlook Express, okay? It's a completely different program. Illegal instruction. Well, sir, I'm sorry, but your copy of Office must be pooched. But that's not supported software, okay? You have to understand that... No, sir, you haven't broken any laws. No, it's an illegal instruction. It's just... Sir, look, I can't help you if you're crying, okay? Please, stop crying, sir. Suck it up. Suck it... Oh, no, don't unplug it. Do not unplug it, sir. No, do not God! You stupid piece of Okay, well, let's just plug that back in then. Okay, great. All right, I'll wait. Just hold, please. Okay, look. We got a serious 12 o'clock flasher here. You know what that is? No. Every appliance in his house is always flashing 12. There's no way to get a 12 o'clock flasher online. Can't be done. I've seen guys eat their own headsets trying. Now, we got to go to Plan B. Hi there, sir. I was just wondering, do you have a child in the house? You do? Great. And what's her name? Beth. Oh, that's very sweet, sir. Could I talk to her for just a second? All right, thanks. Hi there. Hi, who am I speaking with? Beth? Well, hi, Beth. I'm Wes. How old are you? 9. 9 3/4. Wow, well, that's very old. Listen, Beth, your daddy really needs to get his Outlook Express configured to use the third-party dialer instead of LAN or whatever it's set to. Could you, yeah. Oh, and check his SMTP preferences, too. I think they might be pooch. All right, Beth, thanks. Oh, and Beth, listen, the next time your daddy tells you that his computer isn't working, I want you to tell him it's broken, okay? And tell him to give it to you to play with and send him back to the store to buy an iMac. Okay, it's a computer especially built for idiots. For, you know, mummies and daddies. Yeah. Okay, Beth. All right. Well, get him a tissue then. No, I don't want to talk to him. Okay, thanks, Beth. Bye. Look, I'm going to go have a smoke, but if anybody asks, I'm taking a dump, okay? Here. Good luck. You'll be fine. Just keep your head up, your mouse arm loose, and stay away from the porn sites, because they check.
Internet help desk, please hold.